Hey everybody, this is Games Plus James and welcome back to our 2D tutorial platform series here in Unity, where we're taking a look at all the basic elements that you need to put together your own little 2D platformer game. So today what we're going to add to the game is a pause menu, which obviously is important for any game. If you want to get interrupted and you want someone distracts you or something like that, you want to be able to pause your game, and you want to be able to do stuff like quit to the main menu, for example, or maybe go back to like a level select area, which we've already implemented in a previous video. So that's what we're going to do today, and it's relatively straightforward. The basics of it are pretty similar to the main menu stuff that we did in the last video as well. So we might as well just get started. So what we're going to do first is go create a new game object here, and we'll just create an empty one, and we're going to rename this pause menu. And then what we're going to do is go to game object up here and UI, and we're going to create a new canvas. And we're going to drop this underneath the pause menu. We don't want to add the canvas to the pause menu, because we want to have a sub item. Because what we want to have is to be able to pause and start the game. And so we'll have a script running on the pause menu here that'll be looking for when the player presses the button to pause the game, and then it'll turn our menu that'll be here on or off based on whether the player's active or whatever. Actually, we should make sure our pause menu is set to 0, 0 like that. And our canvas should be in the center of that. Yeah, that's okay. Perfect. So what we're going to do is add a few little elements to make it obvious that our game is paused. And a simple thing to do is to just add an image to the canvas. And as you can, if we zoom out so we can look at the whole UI stuff. As you can see, it takes up a little corner of the screen here. What we're going to do is just make a giant black square, or a giant black image to cover the screen basically, and all that's going to do is completely cover the screen so the player can't see what's going on, but we're going to make it slightly see-through so it just looks like you're darkening the game when it's paused. It makes it stand out a little bit more. So what we'll do is, rather than having to search for a new image, we can just take this default blank thing and grab the color of it and bring the color down to black. And obviously you can't see it there now, but that's not that much use to us. And what we're going to do is take this alpha value, which controls how transparent it is, as you can see by dragging it up and down. So we'll put it round about here, I think should be okay. And we'll resize this by just clicking and dragging it. So we'll drag it out and drag it bigger in the area. As you can see here on the screen now, look, everything's looking darker in the game, and if we just turn it off, nice and bright, dark. So it's just a handy way to demonstrate that the game is paused for the player. But obviously that's not really enough. And actually, look what we've done here. This image has been added to the normal canvas, which is handling our player UI and all that stuff. And that's not what we want to happen at all. So we need to drag this image down here and make it a child of canvas here. And we'll activate that again. Because we don't want it to be in the wrong thing. Because what we want is, we want everything that we're doing now to be a subset of the pause menu here, because we're going to want to make this a prefab so that we can use it in all our other levels as well. So now we've got our image. Another thing we want to add is just a little bit of text to say that the game is paused. So we'll just, instead of new text here, we'll say paused. Oh, not paused with a tree. Paused. We don't need an enter there. And we'll change the color of that to white. And we'll center it, and we'll make it slightly bigger. Say 22 should be big enough. And we'll just move it up a tiny little bit, and there we go. And we can see actually the text is kind of a little bit fuzzy looking. So what we should do is, on our canvas here, if we set it to pixel perfect, now it'll line everything up nice and neatly so it'll look good no matter what kind of resolution we're using. Oh, and actually that's another little thing I completely forgot. Since, if we just make this smaller here, with our image, we've aligned it up to the center of the canvas, and that's fine. Except when we make the screen size bigger, now our image is still lined up to the center of the canvas, but it's not covering all the outsides of everything. So what we want to do is make sure our image is selected and click on this. And instead of just being aligned up to the center, we're going to make it stretch to the outsides. So see where it says stretch here and stretch, we want it to stretch to all the corners of the screen. So we click on that there, and now when we maximize it, now everything has been covered by our darkness that we have, which is perfect. So of course, if we're going to have this pause menu, we're going to need a few buttons to press. And much like we did in our previous episode, we go to game object UI button, and we'll just drag this button down a little bit here, just to round about there, I'd say. We want to change a few values on this button to make it more obvious that it's been selected and stuff. So we're going to make the highlighted color just a bit darker, so it's obvious when we move our mouse over the button. Oh, not red. Make it a bit darker, and the pressed color darker again. Perfect. And of course we want to click on our button here and go into our text, and instead of just saying button, we will say this first button will be for resuming the game, so we'll just say resume game, and we'll make this a darker black as well, just to make it stand out that a little bit more. Okay, so we'll rename this resume, and then we'll duplicate that, and we'll rename this one level select, and do the same with the text. Change that to level select, and then duplicate. Oh no, actually we'll move down first, sorry. Move it down, that looks about right. Duplicate it again and show what over here. We'll move this one down too, to about there, and this one will be to quit to the main menu. So we'll just say quit to main for the name of it, and then on the label of the text we will say quit to main menu. Now, so there we go, there's the three buttons, they're all nicely set up. But of course at the moment this won't do anything. I mean, if we press play here, our little pause menu will be up, but it won't do anything. We haven't attached any script, we haven't done anything to control when the players, what happens. Oh, we got killed. The game can play away. That's obviously not what you want going on when the game is paused. So now we need to write ourselves a little script, which is going to be a very simple script. As much as every script we've handled so far in the series hopefully has shown that like the basics of what you can do in Unity aren't that hard to write crazy code for. You don't have to write mad stuff. You can keep things relatively easy and still have interesting results. So we'll go create C# script, and we'll call this pause menu. So we'll just open this up here in MonoDevelop. Once it finishes loading up, it's going to be pretty similar to what we've used for our main menu script in the previous episode. It uses a lot of the same basic elements, so I should probably open that one up too. Once it starts loading, pause menu. If you want to open main menu as well, maybe. Sometimes it wants to do things that you don't really want it to. Wait for it to catch up. There we go. Okay. So we've got our little public voids here that like load the level from the main menu and they quit and stuff like that. We're going to use basically the same things, and I have public strings that we enter to decide what level will be loaded when you press each button. So we're going to do the same thing here for our pause menu. We're going to have public string level select for when we want to load our level select from the menu, and public string main menu, which will take us back to the main menu of the game. So let's add those little options for ourselves. So we got public void resume, which will be what the resume button does. We'll wrap that there. Public void level select, which is what that button does, and then public void quit, which will be what the main menu does. Okay, so much like we did with our main menu over here, we have application.loadLevel whatever name. So we're going to just copy that and paste that in here. So we'll be doing the same thing for our level select and our quit. So we'll just pop that in twice there. Obviously start level isn't something that we've used in this script. So for our level select, we'll be using this variable level select. So we'll pop that in here. Level select. And our quit menu will be using our main menu. So perfect. So that's what will handle what happens when we click those two buttons, and that's perfectly fine. But we want the game to actually pause when we pause the game, and to be able to activate and deactivate. So what we're going to need is a couple of extra little variables up here. So we're going to have a public bool is paused. So that'll be able to determine if the game is paused or if it's not paused. Basically, that'll be the control that we're using to decide whether the menu is shown or whether it's not shown. And then we got public game object pause menu canvas. So that'll be the, if we switch back to Unity just quickly here,